Hi, welcome to Filmcasting Shadow. Today we will be discussing 2007 sci-fi horror film called The Mist. It's based on 1980 horror novel by Stephen King. In a small town in Maine, after a wild thunderstorm, David, who is an artist, finds a big mess at his place. A tree smashed their window, broke their house, and even the lake house is also gone. His son, Billy, calls for help. What started the excitement was a tree from the neighbor's yard, and then the movie show a strange mist roll in from the mountains, making David curious. Then David heads to the neighbor Norton, who's dealing with a stubborn chainsaw. After fixing Norton's chainsaw, David notices his neighbor's car is also wrecked. Norton, trying to patch things up, asks David to grab repair supplies from the town, thinking it might help rebuild their relationship. David agrees. This is because they have problematic relationships before. Along with Billy, they head to the town and spot military convoy. Then they went inside a store. David talks with Sally and Ollie. Sally is a clerk at the grocery store and Ollie is one of the store managers. Suddenly, a guy named Dan rushes in. His nose is bleeding and he is yelling about creatures in the mist, taking his friend. Ollie tries to calm him and Dan tells them to lock the store doors. There's mist everywhere and screams are heard, making everyone inside scared. The store falls into silence as everyone stares into the mist outside. Suddenly, the building got shaken. But the store manager advises everyone to stay where they are. But a worried woman wanted to go home to her kids. Finally, she went alone, ignoring everyone who wasn't helping. Then there is Mrs. Carmody, an extremely religious woman. Flame in the mist means something really bad, like the end of the world. Shortly after, David discovers the generator is blocked. In the eerie silence, there are a strange rattling sound coming from the store doors. David rushed back in fear. Ollie and the others headed to fix the generator after hearing David's concern. Armed with flashlights, and they try to investigate. They find a generator obstructed. There are Norm, Jim, and Myra. Norm planned to clear it from outside. David is scared of the dangers in the mist, but Jim and Norm didn't care about it. Suddenly, a massive tentacle emerges from the mist, grabbing Norm's foot. Despite efforts to save him with an axe, the tentacles pulls Norm away. David and Ollie are left helpless as Norm disappears into the mist, his screams fading away. Ollie rushes to close the doors, while David grabs an axe to fend off the tentacles. He managed to cut the tip just as the door shut. David gets really mad at Jim, blaming him to Norm's tragic fate. David tells Norton the story. Norton doesn't believe it. To prove it, David suggests checking the loading dock with the tentacle and Norm's blood. But Norton gets defensive, worried about getting back at him for past problems. However, David recounts the terrifying event to everyone. He reveals the evidence in the loading dock. Then Bud returns and confirms that the David is saying the truth. But Norton still doesn't believe it. Norton attempts to persuade fellow shoppers to live with him, while Mrs. Carmody claims the events are divine will. Meanwhile, David gathered with others and they arm themselves. Amanda, who is a teacher, reveals she has a gun and hands it to Ollie, who is experienced in shooting. As tension rises, Norton and a small group decided to leave. David tries to convince them about the risk outside, but none believe it's safe. The store becomes divided between those who are staying and those who are going outside. David, understanding the danger, tells the biker to get a shotgun from the car outside. The biker, connected to a rope, goes into the mist with Norton's group. Suspense builds as the rope is suddenly pulled back, revealing only the biker's lower half. To prepare for emergencies, Myron and Jim set up lights attached to batteries, but the lights attract massive flying creatures to the store window. Everything goes crazy as the creatures attack, and things get even worse when Jim and Myron try to turn on more lights. The store window breaks and more creatures come in. Some people get hurt or worse. Sally is also got attacked. One of these creatures killed a man by devouring the flesh on his neck. Creatures with 4 wings known as pterobuzzard and smaller flying ones are called scorpion flies. People inside the store start a fire and fight back, managing to kill some creatures. Ollie saves the kid, Billy, by getting rid of one. After fixing the window, the situation becomes peaceful. Someone mentions comedies with scary predictions coming true about creatures attacking at night. David goes around checking on everyone, only to find another man fatally injured. Also, Amanda notices someone who ingested a whole bottle of sleeping pills. Concerned for the injured, David gathers with survivors to discuss leaving the store. He suggests going to a nearby pharmacy for supplies. Later, David and a group prepare to go to the pharmacy, hoping to secure supplies for the injured. Jessup also joined them. He is a military officer. Billy, frightened of losing his father, cries, but David assures him he will be back soon. But Mrs. Carmody stops them, saying that going to pharmacy will bring the creatures and make the god angry. However, they reach the pharmacy. While looking for supplies, they find people stuck on the ceiling, caught by big spiders. There is a military police officer trapped in a spider web with spider-like alien eggs inserted into the body. All of a sudden, a big spider shows up, causing trouble by shooting acid webs. One guy's leg gets stuck and the acid melts his skin. Later, the military police officer's body got opened, letting out all the spiders. Feeling overwhelmed, the group goes back to the store again, understanding the scary things waiting outside. Unfortunately, 2 of their group members were killed. As they reach the store shouting and scared, David rushes to hold Billy tight. The next day, Mrs. Carmody gives a speech. Many survivors, including Jim, are believing her and treating her like a prophet. The group led by the David still wants to leave, but he decides to seek information from the soldiers. Remembering the strange words from the military police officer at the pharmacy, they go to Jessup. But Jessup says he doesn't know, and the group sees that the other 2 soldiers are missing. Wanting to find them, they go to the loading dock. The group makes a grim discovery as they find the soldiers hanging in the loading dock. Jim grabs Jessup and tells everyone about the military being involved in the mist. Then Jessup becomes the focus of the anger. Jessup says he heard rumors about a portal experiment gone wrong. Mrs. Carmody mentions that this is time for God's punishment. Then the crowd gets angry, attacks Jessup, and takes him outside. Carmody tells them to feed him to the creatures outside. A big creature grabs him while the crowd cheers. That night, David reassures Billy, promising to protect him from the creatures. The next day, David's group prepares to leave. Carmody orders the followers to sacrifice David's group. Ollie shoots Carmody, allowing the group to escape. They reach David's car, but Ollie is captured. When returning to David's house, they find his wife trapped in a web. However, David decides to keep driving for Billy's sake. The journey is filled with death and destruction, encountering different creatures. There are only 4 people in the car: David, Billy, Amanda, and 2 others. Running out of fuel, the car stops, and survivors face the grim reality of their situation. With only 4 bullets left, David looks around, realizing the unavoidable situation. He feels hopeless and defeated. What do you think will happen next? He made the hardest choice. The haunted silence is broken by those 4 remaining bullets. Then David came outside from the car to die from the creatures. He was confused when an unexpected military officer arrived. Soldiers arrive and use fire and guns to get rid from the creatures. What happened was David kills his own son and the others before realizing that help is on its way. He doesn't have another bullet for himself. This might seem like a sudden decision made without a proper consideration. He sees civilians being taken to safety, including the previous distressed woman who was with him in the supermarket alongside her children. It suddenly realizes on him that if he had just waited another minute, his son and the other people would be still alive. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos. Until next time, stay scared. Thank you for watching.